with Montreal for the most part, all the major parts. Now I was here last week and got a little crossed up on a delivery because it happened to be in this weird area that there's a lot of one-way streets and they're cut off and whatnot, so got a little stuck there, but other than that, yeah, we know how to get places. It is on a lockdown because of COVID. There's curfew from 8 at night till 5 in the morning, and there's supposed to be a pretty decent lockdown even during the day, but from what I can see, I would say really things are still rolling here. I'd have to be here right at rush hour to tell you if there's a difference, and I haven't been, so that's the one thing I'm not quite sure of, but I do know during the day and the evening it really doesn't seem like there's much of a major difference from what I can tell. This highway here, the Metropolitan, is always slow. It's except in the middle of the night maybe. Almost always stop and go, or you're going 50 or 40. Not that you'd want to go real fast anyways, because it's really tight and it's bumpy and it kind of tosses your vehicle around in certain areas. They did redo that exit there though. That used to be on the left hand, it's on the right. So they did, that is new. So I'll give them that. Really, the road probably needs to be 4 lanes each side, maybe even 5, but there's just no room for that. It'll never be wider than it is right now because the buildings and the streets are right up against the highway. every road that trucks are allowed to be on, and it's color coded. And some roads you can only be on at certain times of the day or night or whatnot. Some are orange, some are green. It's a very, very useful map. I've looked at it several times when I'm in and around Montreal itself, like off the highway and actually on the back streets. Very useful. I would highly recommend you find that and use it, and it'll make your life easier, because not every big road is open to trucks. Just a word to the wise. The other thing you might not want to do is trust your GPS, because sometimes, like what happened to me last week, I didn't really trust it, but I looked and I thought it made sense what it was telling me to do, and it ended up putting me down a road that came to a dead end, which if you're in a truck and you got bridges all around you, dead ends are not your friend. So lucky for me, I managed to find my way out of it with a couple turnarounds and whatnot. Nothing got broke or scratched, so that was good. But sometimes it isn't that smooth. You gotta watch here when it comes down the, you see how it kind of settled on the ground again? Now we're not above everything. So you might think, because the road got wider, like, oh man, it's back to 100. No, it isn't. It's still only 70 right here. You gotta be real careful, because the cops are not stupid, and they're parked somewhere watching for that. And if you're not paying attention, you can kick her up the full blast 100 and find out you're going 30 above the speed limit, which will get you a ticket. They will let a fair amount go on the highways here sometimes, but more than 15 over, you're kind of taking luck into your hands. Sometimes they'll let you up to 20 over, like once you're out in the boonies, out in the countryside, but I wouldn't say that's a hard and fast rule. So I'm just going to get over here now, because this next exit is mine. So there's really no reason to wait till the last minute. Like I said, I hate when people do that. Sometimes you don't know. It is true. If you're in a different city, you may not really know what the deal is. And that does happen, and it has happened to me. So there's no shame there, of course. But when you do know, there's really no reason for it, right? I know this road, so it would be stupid for me to cut something off. So if you ever go to take the tunnel, you got to be in the middle lane or this right lane. If not, you're going straight to Quebec, or you'll have to turn around somewhere. The other thing to remember here is, even though you see people blowing by me, like, well, that's all good and well, they might not get a ticket, but it's only 70 on this other road too. It's not 100. So anyone that's going much more than 70 is once again taking luck in their hands. Today we're headed for Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. About, give or take, 13 hours away for a truck. If you're in a car, you can do it way faster than that, but in a truck it's about 13 hours away, maybe 13 and a half, because all the hills and whatnot. Can't really say what I got in, because that might give away my customer, but anyways, we got some goodies in the trailer. I like going to Dartmouth. I like this customer, that's why I don't want to lose them. They're fast, they're in and out, do their thing, don't cause any issue, and you walk away half an hour later. You gotta like that. So I would go there every week if I could. Big ball here on the right hand side. That's Versailles. Never been in that mall. Most of these malls in this and the Galerie d'Anjou, I've never been there either. Have been downtown to, I'm not sure if it's called the Eaton Center there too, or there is a mall down by the Bell Center somewhere. I have been in it. I just don't know what it's called. It's kind of another one of those high-end fancy malls that really a normal person like me would never buy anything at, except maybe dinner at the food court. Coming up the tunnel on Tunnel Lafontaine. Oh, that road I said that they didn't fully finish into a highway, it's right here. You can take it right here. And you got to do a few turns, but this is the main way of going to downtown Montreal from this end of town is right here. You take that exit 4 and it eventually gets down the route Notre Dame. Anyways, but it's better to take it this way because you can go fairly fast for the first little bit there. It's kind of like a quasi highway for like a kilometer or two. Whereas if you come down and do the Notre Dame street, which will still get you the same place, there's a bunch of lights on it. So you're going to be stopping at every light. So that's why exit 4 is better. But at the end of the day, they end up in the same place. As that guy's probably coming out from there right now. Must be really heavy. I'll be a nice guy. I'll let him out, I guess. See, we're not, once again, another great rule that Montreal put in. We're not allowed being in the middle lane for reasons unknown that only make sense to them. So we're all of us trucks are stuck in the right-hand lane. That's why you saw me over here and see me over here. Down here in the tunnel, there's no radio reception. If you have satellite radio, it's not going to work down here. Just FYI. It'll work halfway here and there, but if you ever get stuck in here in traffic, which does happen at rush hours, just relax. The radio will work once you get to the other side. Just one of those things. If you ever take time when you're through here to analyze the walls, especially on the left there, the middle wall, it looks terrible, doesn't it? Doesn't it look like it's like falling apart? There's like all these pieces of cement that are falling. If you look up at the roof, you can see that there's like a net to catch pieces of cement that have fallen down in certain areas, which is a little odd to say the least. Definitely needs some maintenance work to be done in here. But it does get you under the river and to the other side, so I guess that's all that's necessary. One of the things we don't like here about all trucks in one lane is right here. Buddy in front of me is going to be at an almost standstill, and I can't do a thing. I can't pass him because I'm not allowed to be in the middle lane, even out here. I gotta wait till I think it's a little bit further. By that time, usually you've lost all your momentum, so passing someone doesn't accomplish anything anyways. I think it's past this next overpass that it officially opens up. Whoever's in front of you going slow has you almost stopped completely, so it's really, it doesn't accomplish anything passing. And then there's always the trucks like Buddy beside me and the one coming behind me that will jump over there earlier than they're supposed to. And so then you can't pass anyone anyways, because you don't want to be the idiot that cuts someone off. So I'll let you by now. There it is. Now we're over in Longueuil or Brossard. I'm not exactly sure what the line